Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The state of California is venturing out into uncharted territory along with a handful of other states to provide an employer payroll withholding scheme to provide a defined contribution retirement plan for employees within the state whose employer currently does not provide a retirement plan. So this endeavor will create two concerns that may impact every taxpayer. The first is the expense of administering the program. There are costs to run a bank or a mutual fund, and those costs are usually paid out of the investment earnings and are referred to as an expense ratio or maybe overhead or defined by basis points. So it is hoped that the investment returns less the cost of state staffing, space rental, computer costs, printing, website maintenance, and customer service are a minor amount compared to the yields earned on the funds under management. I ran a portfolio, a cash equivalent fund for the County of Orange, and we managed about up to sometimes $7 billion, but we would charge about 10 to 15 basis points, which were our costs for managing those funds. So the second concern is the potential for investment losses from economic downturns. That's the joy of having a defined contribution plan. You get what you get when the investments are earned, and sometimes the stock market giveth and sometimes it taketh away. Right now it's giving, but for a while, as CalPERS knows, it was pretty flat. But there's a downside to losses, and in this case, as the risk of the investments will be borne by the participants, we have something new to be concerned about, because these participants will also be constituents. And when these constituents have losses, they will contact their elected officials and they will say, hey, wait a second, I put my money with the state, I lost money, you got to make me whole or whatever. And long after we're gone, Mr. Chair, long after the author of Senate Bill 1234 is gone, someone's going to say we better do a bill to make these individuals whole. And that's why we have this Senate constitutional amendment before you today, Senate SCA 1. So SCA 1 is designed to prohibit such legislation. I believe secure choice is a noble but bureaucratic methodology of providing retirement plans, but it should be a service alternative, not an exposure for the state to a potential liability. So this should be made very clear. As we are told when we invest, past performance does not indicate future earnings, so buyer beware. Doing this SCA provides three significant things. The first is that it promotes secure choice. You will have a ballot measure that tells everybody that you can invest in secure choice if your employer doesn't provide a pension plan. That's $1 million of free advertising to the marketplace. It will also help inform all the employers that may be impacted. This is really a great opportunity to promote this tool. And in fact, it comes in 2018, right before secure choice becomes effective in 2019. The second is that the voters will also learn that it's a government program that is not being subsidized. Thirdly, this program will not be a burden on the state's budget and will not be a cause for either more tax increases or budget cuts or maybe even state employee layoffs. So colleagues, SCA 1 introduces secure choice for what it is and memorializes that it is a standalone state department that is self-funded, independent, and not an entitlement subject to taxpayer backfilling. So let's assure the voters up front and obtain their buy-in on this initiative, and I urge and I vote.